Hey guys, I'm back with another book talk, and this one is over Paper Towns by John Green. I know, I'm a slacker, it took me forever to read it. This was actually my book club's May book of the month, and I'm awful. I'm an awful person. It took me till June to read it because, I'm just really bad about this. But, yeah, it was great. I loved it. I'm really glad we picked it, and I'm really glad I suggested it. So if you want to join my book club, I run it with two other people. I run it with Austin and Adriana, and it's just a lot of fun. I'll link it down below, and you can join it. It's a Goodreads group, and currently, right now, we're reading the second book in the Shatter Me series, but me being the awful, slacker, horrible person I am, I'm still reading the first book because I've been busy and on vacation and stuff. So yeah, definitely join us. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, finally got around to reading Paper Towns. I'm so glad I did. I'd heard very mixed opinions about this book. One of my really good friends, it's her boyfriend's favorite John Green book actually, and she read it and she said she didn't really like it. She's liked some of his other stories better, and so I was really iffy on whether or not I would like this book. I absolutely loved it. Out of the two, I repeat two, please do not kill me, John Green books that I have read, which would be The Fault in Our Stars and now Paper Towns. I'm sorry, I'm slowly working my way through all of his books. I gotta get caught up before his new book comes out. Paper Towns is definitely my favorite. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I love The Fault in Our Stars. I love Hazel. I love Gus. But the fact that I was spoiled for the entire story before I even read it kind of threw me off and made me not want to read it and kind of pushed it off. I knew it was going to happen the entire time, so it was really, why do I need to read the book before the movie? But I still forced myself to read it. I still enjoyed it, but I really, really loved Paper Towns a lot more. I definitely loved Q. He's such a cute little character. He's so adorable. I love him. And the fact that he cares so much about Margot that he travels across the country to go find her is just beyond me. And this is a girl he hasn't been close friends with since they were little. And he's still completely and utterly in love with her, and he skips freaking graduation to drive across the country to go save her or rescue her because he thinks something's awful happened to her. And he's just so cute, and I love him. And I'm just I wish a guy would do that for me. Although I probably wouldn't stage my own disappearance because, one, I'm not that clever, and I don't think I could be away from home for that long, on purpose. Let's talk about Margot. Margot's a very, very unique character, and I kind of really, really love Margot. I don't know why. I just find somehow a connection with her. I mean, obviously, I can tell you now, I was not the popular girl in high school. I had two boyfriends throughout high school. Definitely wasn't star of the football team or whatever. I had, my own little small group of friends I stuck with, and that's about it. So I kind of think my group of friends, I'm Quinn's group of friends is me and my friends is how we were in high school. But the way that Margot thinks, and the more that Quinn unravels about her as he's trying to figure out where she went and why she disappeared, it kind of made me more connect with Margot. Margot talks about how she doesn't feel like she fits in, and she talks about how the whole, her whole world is just paper. She's in a paper town full of paper people who just care about paper things. And I kind of feel like that sometimes. The whole world that, especially being at my high school, everything is fake. All the people are fake. We're fake to each other. It was awful. I absolutely hated high school, so for people who say that high school is the best years of your life, I really hope you're wrong, because high school was awful for me. But I really do believe with that. It makes me think back. I've thought that, since I've lived in this small town that I live in, that's how it is. Everybody's fake to each other. They're fake to their parents. They have a different personality they put on for everybody that they hang out with. And I just don't know. I just really, really identified with this. But although it made me really, really mad that she went all the way to New York and she made it seem like she wanted Q to go find her, and then they get there and she's like, I didn't want you to find me. You weren't supposed to come. Then why did you leave the clues? Like, there's gotta be a reason you left the clues. Maybe you kind of wanted him to come, but you didn't realize you were doing that. You know, I don't know. And then you think, you know, they're gonna end up together. Like, this is gonna be the big moment that they finally, Q finally gets his shot with Margot. But no. No, it just ends. She decides to go off to New York City, and he goes home. And, I mean, she does invite him to go with her, but she can't expect him to just throw away his entire future and college just to follow her to New York City and, you know, do whatever the hell she wants to do and explore and just, you know, whatever. He has a life set out for him. He's ready to, like, get started. He already threw away graduation and, you know, like, 2 days of his life and a near-death experience just to go get her. And then she wants him to drop everything else in his life just to follow her. I'm sorry, that's just so selfish, and it makes me hate her. It really does. It broke my heart because I was like, you're supposed to be together. You're supposed to go back to Florida with him and, you know, try to make it work from your different colleges. But no, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. So, yeah, that definitely tore my heart apart. Made me hate Margot just a little tiny bit because of that. I just wonder, I don't know why, but I wonder, why is John Green such a freaking quotable author? Like, you always see quotes of his just pulled out that everybody falls in love with. Like, obviously, like, Fault in Our Stars, Maybe Okay Will Be Our Always, and I'm on a roller coaster that only goes up, okay. Some infinities are bigger than other infinities. There's just so many quotes that people take from his books that, like, everybody loves. Like, another one is, if I was a drizzle, then she was a hurricane, or something like that from Looking for Alaska. Like, everybody just loves his quote because John Green is an amazing author. Like, let's just put it out there. He's definitely one of my favorite authors. He's right up there. I love him. And so, saying that, with John being a very quotable author from everybody, I found a few quotes that I liked. So, I shall read them to you now. And this comes from the part where Quentin shows up at this party after prom, is it? I think it's after prom. I don't know. It's after something. And Ben and Lacey are there, and so he shows up and he's going to the bathroom. And Lacey ends up being in the bathtub while he's peeing. But anyways, it says, I wanted to stop peeing, but I couldn't. Of course, peeing is like a good book. It is very, very hard to stop once you start. That's, I mean, obviously it's not like mind-blowing quotes. It's just, you know, funny. I thought it was funny, and it's definitely something you can really relate to, because, like, have you ever tried to stop peeing? It's very, very hard, and especially, like, when you're reading a really good book, like, aka Paper Towns, it is very hard to put down and stop and, you know, get in some sleep or go to work or whatever. This quote, I really don't understand why I love this quote so much. It's just stuck with me, and, like, I absolutely love it, and I really don't know why. Margot was not a miracle. She was not an adventure. She was not a fine and precious thing. She was a girl. And actually, you know what, thinking about it now, I think I understand why I love this quote so much. It's saying she's a person. She's a girl. She makes human mistakes. Like, you shouldn't be interested in somebody because, you know, you think they're going to be an adventure or a wild ride. You shouldn't try to protect someone and just assume because they're a female that they're going to be easily hurt, that they're fragile. They're obviously not. You shouldn't, I don't know, I just loved it. It's just like, you should accept someone for being human and not try to pin all these other things that you love about them on them and think that's why, you know, that's what they are. She's a mystery because she doesn't tell a lot about herself. She just randomly disappears and leaves clues that we don't always pick up on. Or she likes to, you know, break into amusement parks in the middle of the night. That makes her an adventure. Or she's so fragile that she doesn't feel like she fits in. She hates that everybody's so fake and that the world that she lives in is awful. That doesn't make her fragile and precious. She's a girl. She can handle anything. Really. Like, I feel like I'm rambling on about this quote, and I really feel like this is not making any sense, but I really did love it, and it is now currently one of my favorite quotes in like the entire world. I just love it. And this comes from the last day of school. They've just left the school and everything, and Q is talking, and he says, "As I ran, I felt myself for the first time becoming Margot. I knew she was not in Orlando, she was not in Florida. Leaving feels too good once you leave." And that I feel like that specifically talks about high school. Like I said, I personally did not have a very good high school experience. Freshman year was completely awful. Sophomore year was okay-ish. Junior year was awful too. And then actually sophomore year was pretty awful too. Like sophomore and freshman year were pretty awful. Junior year was okay. I did have my moments. Senior year was pretty good for the most part, but obviously there were some very traumatic things that happened to me senior year with like friendships and boys, and it was definitely not a great experience at all. I absolutely hated high school. I'm so glad to be gone and going on to college. So when I walked out of the school doors for the last time as a student, it felt amazing. Like walking out of those school doors for the last time, knowing that you will never step foot in that school again as a student, is like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. And like once you leave, you don't want to go back. Like maybe to visit like once in a while, but like knowing that you're not gonna have to go back there every single day of the school year and face all those people you hate, and like just have to like get over everything that happened in those 4 years that happened there and not have to like repeat anything, like it feels good. Like you don't want to go back. So yeah, that's enough about my rambling and stuff. Also, another quote I really liked, I didn't write it down in my notes so I don't remember what page it's on, but it's when Q and Margot are in the SunTrust building, I think it is, and they're looking over Orlando, and she starts talking about how the town is paper and so are the people, and like all the things that she talks about like that. Again, like I really resonated with that. Like I don't even think that's the right word to use, but I really love that quote. I forgot to write it down because I didn't start thinking about it until like after I read it. Like this book definitely made me think a lot. Like, you know, like I said, Margot talking about everything being paper definitely made me think a lot about like my own personal experiences in my own life and stuff, and it was definitely interesting to think about. Anyways, off of the topic of quotes and stuff, John Green, hello, is an amazing writer. I love the way he writes. I love the story. I love anything he would write. I would read his shopping list. I really would. He did some, I think one of the things I really liked the way he wrote this book. I love books that have like unique aspects added into it, like with Me, Earl and the Dying Girl. The author wrote in the dialogue and movie script text, which I thought was really cool, and then the main character made random lists and stuff using bullets and stuff, and I thought that was really cool. It's very interesting. Something I'd never seen before in a book is this book has 3 parts, and once you get to a new part, like let's see, it says part 2, the chapters restart over, so then you start from 1 until you get to the end. And I thought that was really interesting, especially in the very last part of the book. There's not really chapters, but it talks about the hours of the car ride, because it's a 21-hour car ride, maybe almost 22 hours in the car, and it just accounts for everything that happened within each hour of their car ride. And I thought that was really cool, and I loved it. I especially loved the way the book started with the random death. Definitely not something you would think you would find in a contemporary book. In the very beginning of these kids finding a dead body, I thought that was a very unique touch to it, and interesting how it did play, you know, kind of a big role into Margot and how she had become the way she was. So I really love that. Overall, I gave this book a 5 stars because, hello, John Green. It was amazing. Wow, it's really raining out there. It's really coming down. definitely recommend it. If you know anybody who has not read this, please tell them to read this because it is amazing and everybody loves it. You gotta love it. I don't understand people who say that Paper Towns is their least favorite book because it's definitely my favorite and I love it. Also, by the time this video goes up, I'll probably be back from Indiana, but I leave this Friday, which is July 10th, to go to Indiana for 9 days to visit family, and my aunt lives in Indiana. She lives right outside of Indianapolis, and you know, John Green lives in Indianapolis. So my one goal and like hope and dream and aspiration every time I go to Indiana is to just randomly run into John Green somewhere. Like, that would make my life if that happened, but it probably won't, but you know, I can hope. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this year I'll run into John Green somewhere. Probably won't happen, but a girl can dream, right? Alright, well that is all I have for you guys right now, so I'll see you guys next time with a book talk, Top 5 Wednesday, or a tag video. Until then, I'm Chrissy. Goodbye!